Hey guys, we're back with more football. I know we might be getting a little bland, but I have been trying to break the blandness of just football talking up with my Pokemon videos. So I hope you guys enjoyed that little series right there. But today is a very important day because today we do my first annual what's it called? NFL 2023 to 2024 power rankings. Now, this video is going to be more just going over the teams and why I have them at their ranking. But, and every other following week will be me changing them based and explaining my big changes based on how they played in the prior week. And I'm just going to tell you the criteria for my power rankings. My criteria are based on how I feel about that team, how good I think they're going to do this season, how good they did last season, and their ceilings and floors. So you might see for example, a 6-11 team be above a certain 7-10 team because first of all they're better than that in my predictions. Like I might have this is a random example. I may have the Patriots go 10-6, and the Bears go 11. I meant 10-7 for the Patriots, and the Bears go 11-6. But I might have the Patriots go up. Be higher than the Bears because I think they have a higher ceiling. And because they did better last year. That might be a reason for me to have them higher than the Bears in my power rankings. Despite in my predictions, the Patriots having one more loss than the Bears. But yeah, let's just get into it. That took a little while. But let's start with the bottom four. I think those are really the bottom barrel teams. I have the Cardinals, Texans, Panthers, and Colts. It's pretty simple. All these teams, except for the Panthers, had really bad records last year, but I just don't really have any faith in the Panthers. Bryce Young and C.J. Stroud are both in the bottom of this list, and Anthony Richardson, which you could tell. It doesn't mean I hate the quarterbacks rookies this year. I just don't think that any of them have the best receiving core or even receiving back core to really flourish this season, which is why I have them all very low. And the Cardinals don't even have Kyler Murray for a while. They also lost DeAndre Hopkins and J.J. Watt. I just think that they don't really have a chance to be great this year. But it would be good for them if them and the Texans are the bottom too. But remember, this is prone to change week by week. My next four: Patriots, Broncos, Commanders, and Rams. Patriots and Broncos are not very good last year, and I think they're either going to be slightly worse, slightly better, or pretty much exact same. I don't see them really changing much. Commanders and Rams just don't have the rosters, I think, to compete with better teams in their division, which is going to end up with them either getting swept or mostly getting swept and maybe tying one series, which will already give them a few losses. I just don't have much faith in any of these four teams I just mentioned, but I do think they have more upside than the bottom four. But let's move on. I know I'm doing this pretty quickly, but it's because this isn't really the important part of the power rankings. The power rankings are really the real grab is how much a team moves or up or down because of a loss or a win. Not really the starting power rankings, but how much they shift over the season, which is why I'm kind of not taking a long time to explain each placement. Let's go to the next four: Titans, Packers, Raiders, Bears. Now, Packers are usually ranked a little bit higher. I'm not too high on Jordan Love. I also think they're just not very good, in my opinion. But Titans they have the potential, but I just don't really see it in them. DeAndre Hopkins could definitely help, but also I just don't think their team meshes very well. Their offensive line is okay at best. They did get Chris Carson to remedy that, but Ryan Tannehill's falling off. We don't know who's going to really be good between Will Levis and Malik Willis, which quarterback is pretty important. So we'll see, but right now I don't really have the Titans up very high. Also Raiders and Bears are kind of just teams I think that could be decent, but in my predictions I have them getting 7 wins and not really doing much besides getting slightly, maybe around the same pick as last year. Next four: Saints, Steelers, Browns, and Lions. Now we're starting to get into the winning records. Saints, though, and Steelers are neither of those teams have winning records. You might be the Steelers only had 6 wins in your predictions. Why are they so high? Because I think their ceiling is really high. I have their floor being 6-11, which is also where I had my prediction at. But their ceiling is 11 wins, which really boosts them up pretty high. And they also won 9 games last year. As I said, ceiling is a big part of this, as well as prior record last season. So those combined boost them way higher than my prediction for them, actually. And we also have the Saints. Just think they're going to be a decent 7-10 team, slightly above the Raiders and Bears. Browns and Lions are 10-7 and 9-8 respectively. They could end up being better or maybe even worse than this ranking says, but so far, I think having them kind of close to the middle is where they should be. Next four: Lions, Giants, Falcons, and Seahawks. No, Giants, Falcons, Seahawks, and Bucks. Now, Giants, Seahawks, and Bucks all made it to playoffs last year. I don't know if they'll have the same success. I actually have the Bucks having a better record, but that's pretty much the only team here. I have them at third team because I still think they're going to be good this year, combined with their decent enough record last season. Seahawks and Giants are both teams that were okay last year. I think will have similar success, which is why they're kind of just slightly in the upper tier of teams. And the Falcons, despite only being 7-10 last year, I think they'll be better. Combined with my ceiling for them being like 11 to 12 wins, makes them decently high on this list. Next four: Jets, Jaguars, Vikings, and Chargers. So, Jets and Jaguars are two teams that have gotten a lot of praise and high expectations this season. I do think they'll kind of answer those, but not into a top 10. But the two lowest members of the top 10 are the Vikings and Chargers, two teams that surprisingly lost in the wild card. I think they might suffer a similar fate. Chargers, I have going 11-6, Vikings at 10-7, but I can't really bring them any higher than this. Next four are Cowboys, Bills, Dolphins, Ravens. Bills and Dolphins, as I already said, records in my predictions don't completely contribute to their rankings, which is why even though the Dolphins have a lower record, I think they might have a higher ceiling than the Bills, and even if they don't, I think they still could end up going farther in the playoffs, which is also something that I do keep in mind in my rankings. Ravens and Cowboys are both teams that may be a little bit overlooked this season. I don't think the Cowboys will be amazing, but I do think the Ravens will be. And I had to bring the Cowboys kind of high since, they were pretty good last year. And I think the Ravens will be one of the better teams this season. Final four: Bengals. Well, they're going to make it to playoffs for a few years in the future, I see. Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase are just like that. But I don't think they're a top tier team in the league. I think they are very good, though. Combined with their decent last season, they are very high on this list. 49ers, they made the NFC Championship last year. They're only getting Brock Purdy more used to this offense. So I think it's only up from here, even if up isn't number one. Eagles at number 2 and Chiefs at number 1, the two Super Bowl teams. I think they both still hold their podiums going into week 1. But we will see, as the Chiefs will face off against my number 17 Lions. But I think they definitely could reach to the 14-13 range. If they win, they're jumping into the top 10 most likely, I'll tell you that. But, yep, that's it for this video. I know it was pretty short, and I went through the teams pretty quickly. But I do not want to focus on my starting power rankings, as they are bound to change. So, yeah, those are like the week 1 power rankings, week 2 power rankings, and week 16 and stuff. Those would be really interesting weeks to see how my rankings change. So, guys, tell me if you want to see a college football top 25. I might record it, I might not. I might just make one off screen, off camera. But see you guys next time. This is Goldie Jr. Talk Sports. This time I actually talk sports. You're welcome.